Hey everyone, have you ever wondered how a villa is modeled from the ground up in Rhino, starting from the big picture and going all the way to the tiniest details? In this video, I'll take you through the entire process step by step. We'll model everything, walls, doors and windows, all the way to cabinets, baseboards and even small interior objects. I'll show you exactly how I work so you can see every detail and understand how to approach a project like this yourself. Stick with me, follow along, and by the end, you'll be able to practice this project on your own. So, let's get started. Hey there everyone, so I'm Haseen, and wow, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're diving into something super exciting. We're going to model the interior floor plan of a single-story villa from scratch, step by step. And trust me, it's going to be detailed, like really detailed in Rhino. We're going to build everything together. I mean everything. From drawing the walls, door and window frames, to modeling those sleek cabinets, shelves, and baseboards, and of course arranging all the interior objects. It's going to be a blast. And you know what? Along the way, I'll sprinkle in some professional tips and tricks that I've picked up from real projects. So by the end, you'll totally level up your Rhino modeling skills and get cozy with those algorithmic design techniques and Grasshopper. And hey, this video is just the first part of a project-based series, so there's more to come in the next episodes. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you don't miss any updates. All right, enough chit-chat. Let's dive in and build a complete villa together. First things first, I've got this floor plan file all ready to go, and guess what? The download link is right down in the video description. Now, since this plan is drawn in centimeters, the very first thing I do is set the project units to centimeters. Super important. Then, I'm just going to drag and drop that file right into Rhino, and then I click Import, OK, and voila, the plan is in the project. But wait, even though the AutoCAD layers are still there, I kind of like to select all the elements and group them together, make everything one single unit, right? Next up, I'm creating a new layer, and I'm calling it Base Plan. I just move the entire plan to this layer by doing a right-click, Change Object Layer. I totally lock the entire plan, just so we can work with its lines without accidentally moving anything around. It's super important. And then, I run the purge command just once, to clear out any extra layers or objects, keep everything nice and tidy, right? But hey, if you want to skip those steps, you can totally just breeze past them. No biggie. All right, now let's move on to drawing the walls and the main structure of the villa. First, I create a new layer called Walls. By double-clicking the layer name, I make it active, so everything we create goes into this layer. To make sure the extrusions turn into solid walls later, each wall needs to be drawn as a closed curve. If the lines aren't closed, have twists, or aren't perfectly flat, the walls will come out hollow when extruded. Now I start with the polyline command and draw each wall one by one as a closed shape. It's better to have OSNAP end turned on while working for more accurate line placement and smoother workflow. Once all the walls are drawn as closed curves, we use the extrude closed curve command and give them a height of 280 centimeters. If all walls come out as solids, it means everything was done correctly. But if you see hollow walls, it probably means some of the curves weren't properly closed or flat. All right, now we move on to setting up the door frames. As you can see in the image you're looking at, I start by drawing a rectangle at the bottom of the door location. It's better to have O-snap enabled here so the corners snap exactly to the points you want. Next, using the gumball, I move this rectangle up 210 centimeters to reach the standard door height. From this position, I use the extrude command to extend the rectangle all the way up to the height of the walls. We repeat this process for all the door frames in the villa. Alright, now let's move on to the window frames. The steps are almost the same as for the doors, with one important difference. First, like before, I draw a rectangle at the window location. Then, I extrude this rectangle up to the height of the bottom edge of the window, also known as OKB. Here, I've set it to 50 centimeters. Next, I move the original line using move or gumball so it sits on the extruded surface. From this position, I use the gumball again to move the line up by the window height, which I've set to 180 centimeters here. Finally, I extrude from this new height all the way up to the wall edge. And that's it. Of course, this is just one method. In future project-based videos, we'll explore other methods, like using Boolean, to give you a better idea of different options. We repeat this process for all the windows in the villa. Alright, now let's move on to creating the internal openings. We could do it like the doors, but here I want to show you another method using Boolean commands. As you can see in the image, first I create a box with the dimensions needed for the opening. The length is determined from the plan. The width should be enough to pass through the wall on both sides. The height is set to 210 centimeters. Next, I use fillet edge with a radius of 40 to round the top corners, creating a semi-arched shape. Then, using Boolean difference, I subtract this volume from the wall to create the opening. If you're not familiar with these commands, there's a full beginner tutorial on Rhino basics on the channel. The link is in the description, and I highly recommend checking it out. We repeat this process for all internal openings in the villa. Alright, now let's move on to some interior details. First, we'll model the bedroom cabinets. As you can see, I start with the box command to create the internal shelves of the cabinet. The shelf design is completely flexible. Here I've chosen a layout that fits the space. I set the thickness of these boxes to 1 centimeter, which is reasonable. Next, for the cabinet door frame, I draw a rectangle and fit it to the cabinet opening. Then I use offset with 3 centimeters inward and extrude about 2 centimeters to create the frame of the door. Now, using the box command again, I model the cabinet doors, setting their thickness to 1 centimeter. Since this is a sliding cabinet, 2 doors are enough, and they need to be positioned so they can slide over each other. I made one door about 10 centimeters taller, but this is completely up to your preference. You can design it however you like. And just like that, we've created a simple cabinet for the bedroom. We repeat this process for the other rooms as well. One note, to keep this video from getting too long, we're keeping the modeling simple here and not diving into deep furniture or kitchen details. But in future tutorials, we'll go step by step into more complex objects and models. For the master bedroom, we follow the same process to model the shelves and cabinets. All right, now let's move on to the kitchen. For the cabinets, the workflow is similar to the bedroom cabinets we modeled earlier. First, we create the shelves, and then we move on to the doors. There's one important difference here. I raise the base cabinets about 14 centibis off the ground, and I add simple cylindrical legs underneath using the cylinder command. Next, I start modeling the shelves. For the countertop, I create the stone surface on top of the cabinets. The standard distance between the upper and lower cabinets is about 65 centimeters. Finally, I add the cabinet doors. As I mentioned before, in this tutorial, we're keeping the details simple, so the video doesn't get too long. But in future tutorials, we'll go step by step and add more detailed furniture and cabinet elements. And that's how the kitchen modeling is completed. All right, Now let's add the door and window objects. I have a set of pre-made objects that I want to use in this model. You can also download these objects from the internet. Both free and paid options are available. The files I'm using are free, and I've packaged them all together. The download link is in the video description, so you can use the same ones for practice. To use an object, I open the corresponding file, select the object, and group it once for convenience. Then I copy it with Ctrl+C and paste it into the main file with Ctrl+V. Now the object is in the project, we just need to adjust its placement and scale. Using the move command, I select a reference point on the object and move it precisely to the desired position. If the dimensions are correct, perfect. If the size doesn't match our model, we can adjust it in the required direction using scale 1D. Here, as you can see in the image, I'm placing one of the doors in its correct position. If these commands are new to you, I have a 4-part beginner series on Rhino basics on the channel, which I highly recommend. Link is in the description. We repeat this process for all doors and windows in the villa. Step by step, the villa is starting to take shape. Alright, now let's move on to modelling the baseboards. Adding details like this makes our model look more professional and visually appealing. For this, we use the sweep one rail command. First, we need to define the baseboard path for each room using a polyline, like you can see here. Next, we create a profile for the baseboard. I'm designing a sample profile, but you can choose a different shape or detail based on your preference. Now, using sweep one rail, we apply the profile along the path, and just like that, the baseboard for this space is complete. We repeat this process for all spaces in the villa. If you want, you can also use this same technique for ceiling moulding. As I mentioned before, the process for placing the remaining objects is very similar. First, I open the object file, select it, and group it once so it's easier to manage later. Then I copy it with Ctrl+C and paste it into the main file with Ctrl+V. Now the object is in the project, we just need to adjust its placement and scale. Using the gumball, I move the object to its correct position. If needed, we can use the scale command to adjust the size precisely. Here, as you can see, I'm placing a bed in its designated spot. We repeat this process for all the remaining objects. The more objects you place, the more detailed and professional your project will look. All the objects I used are available for download. Link is in the video description so you can use them too. Alright, we've reached the final part of the video. In this episode, we went through the entire process of modelling a villa from scratch, from the initial floor plan and basic setup, to drawing the walls, door and window frames, modelling cabinets, shelves, baseboards, and placing the interior objects. We went through each step together, and I shared key professional tips and tricks used in real projects. Remember, there's no single correct way to model. The right method is the one you feel comfortable with and that gets you the result you want. Practice and experience are the most important factors for becoming proficient in Rhino. So make sure to try this project or similar ones yourself, experiment and apply the techniques and tips you've learned. If you found this video super helpful, and you're itching to dive into more step-by-step projects, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell too, so you won't miss out on any new tutorials, right? Also, feel free to drop your questions and suggestions in the comments below. I'm totally here for it, and I'll be answering them in future videos. So, hey, thank you so much for sticking with me till the very end of this video. Seriously, I really appreciate it. And remember to practice, all right? Enjoy the whole learning journey. It's super important. And oh man, stay tuned for the next project-based videos. We're going to dive into more details and tricks together. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye for now.